Equustria's First Prank Call, Chapter 2. Twilight slunk along the outskirts of town, a pith helmet on her head and binoculars dangling around her neck. Her saddlebags were packed full of every piece of trekking equipment she possessed, and as a result, they very nearly dragged on the ground. The rest of her body was wrapped in camouflage. She had been rather split on whether to pursue her missing refrigerator or to make a beeline to Sugar Cube Corner, but in the end, she had decided to recover her missing appliance. Pinky was around town, somewhere. Twilight knew she could be found. But the fridge. If Twilight put it off in favor of confronting Pinkie Pie, the icebox might be halfway to Appaloosa by the time she found it. Besides, she had 2 gallons of Rocky Road ice cream in the freezer, and she needed to get it back before it melted. The refrigerator tracks, still she couldn't believe she was following such a thing, changed. Twilight stepped, drew out a magnifying glass, and examined the impressions, taking note of the depth, direction, and spacing. If her theory was right, soon she would— "Hey, Twilight!" Twilight nearly jumped out of her skin. She spun around in place half a dozen times before realizing that the voice had come from above her. She looked up just in time for her helmet, which had been thrown off by the sudden jolt, to land on her face. As she removed it, she found herself looking up at Rainbow Dash.
So, what exactly are you doing?"
Dash asked, curiously, surveying Twilight's getup.
"Did one of Fluttershy's chickens run away again?"
"Shh!" Twilight held up a hoof.
"Be very quiet. I'm hunting my fridge."
"Oh!" Rainbow Dash turned to fly away, but then she realized what Twilight had just said.
"Wait, what? My refrigerator!"
Twilight snapped.
"I was up all night working on my lunchbox, and then Pinky called to make a bad pun, and now my fridge is running around town. I have to catch it before my ice cream melts." "Yeah..."
Rainbow Dash scratched her head. She knew that Twilight had her fair share of eccentricities, but this was a bit much.
"You were up all night?"
"Yes." Twilight bent down and began to re-examine the tracks.
"I thought so. How much coffee did you drink?" "Only 3 pots."
Then she picked up a miniature windsock out of her bag and held it up in the breeze.
"And a half. Twilight, I think you might be seeing things. Why don't you get some sleep?"
She landed next to Twilight and gently put her foreleg around her friend's shoulder.
"Then you can go, look for it in your kitchen." "Aha, it's slowing down,"
Twilight crowed triumphantly into Rainbow Dash's ear.
"See, the stride lengths are getting shorter, and the distribution of weight in the tracks indicates a slower speed. It must be getting tired." "Fridges can get tired?"
Rainbow Dash asked, and immediately regretted letting herself get drawn into this nonsense.
"Wait, no. Refrigerators can't get tired because they can't run around. Those tracks are probably from Fluttershy taking her animals on a walk or something." "Rainbow Dash, I saw my fridge gallop out of my kitchen with my own eyes."
She grabbed Rainbow Dash's face and shoved it against her own, so her eyes were nearly all that Rainbow Dash could see.
"I did not come out here to track Fluttershy's animals." You do know that sleep deprivation is bad for you, right?"
Rainbow Dash said, stepping back cautiously. The edges of Twilight's mane were beginning to curl. That was never a good sign.
"Remember what happened to Applejack?" "I have more experience with functioning on minimal amounts of sleep," Twilight answered. "And Applejack didn't have enough coffee." "Well, yeah, I guess, but come on, Twilight, a little sleep never hurt any pony."
Rainbow Dash put a hoof on her chest.
"I sleep like 15 hours a day, and I still manage to be totally awesome." "Being totally awesome isn't going to keep my ice cream from melting," Twilight retorted. "I have to take care of this, now." "Yeah,
She briefly considered whether it would be worth the trouble to attempt to drag Twilight back to her library. Attempting to deal with a coffee-fueled alicorn with an affinity for teleportation wasn't exactly a fun prospect. Besides, even if Twilight was a bit delirious now, once her buzz wore off, she'd probably fall asleep on her hooves. No point in provoking her.
"I should get going. I have, training to do. Yeah, training. See you later. Good luck with your..."
Rainbow Dash tried not to laugh.
"Fridge hunting." "Thanks,"
Twilight answered enthusiastically, waving after Rainbow Dash as she flew away.
"You're welcome,"
Rainbow Dash answered. Then she paused to hover.
"Oh, and just so you know, it might be easier to track your You know,
she smirked.
if you flew. Just saying.
She spun around and resumed her flight, trying to put as much distance between herself and Twilight as possible.